In this video I will be talking about psychological factors. Some psychological factors are PCDs. This stands for Psychological Characteristics of Developing Excellence. Some PCDs are commitment, focus and distraction control, coping with pressure and goal setting. The first PCD is commitment. This is a big reason an athlete makes it to be a professional. This is because without the commitment to training and doing what the coaches say and following the rules, the athlete would be showing ill discipline, and professional clubs and scouts are likely to reject you as a player. They want athletes with good attitudes, as they can work on technique and skills within the sport to make you a better performer or player. A good example of this would be Mario Balotelli and Ravel Morrison. In a Sky Sports article, Italian coach at the time, Gianpiero Ventura, said that recent form had prompted him to offer Balotelli a way back last month. However, the coach needed to have a meeting face-to-face to discuss behavioural problems. This shows that despite the clear ability Mario Balotelli possessed, he had issues with behaviour and commitment. The next PCD is focus and distraction control. If an athlete is focused on achieving something, they will work as hard as they can to achieve it. Focus comes with being able to control distractions. As an aspiring athlete, a lot of your time will be spent training and missing out on fun with friends and family. This is where distraction control is important. If you are serious about your dreams, you need to be able to stay focused and say no to distractions, such as going out with friends and eating unhealthy foods. A good example of this would be Cristiano Ronaldo. Mike Phelan, the Manchester United assistant manager, said this about Cristiano Ronaldo. There are stories out there of Ronaldo being first to training every day, taking ice baths at 3 AM, spending hours in his personal gym at home after training. Well, that is him. He has an eternal quest to work and play football. There wasn't a training session or match where I thought he's not at it today. The third PCD is coping with pressure. Being able to cope with pressure is what distinguishes the good from the great. Being able to cope with pressure is important the higher up the elite sports you go. This can be anything in sports, from taking a penalty to win a football match, or making sure you serve the ball correctly in tennis. Someone who is very good at coping with pressure is Cameron Smith, a hooker for the Melbourne Storm in the NRL in Australia. Smith holds the record for most NRL games with 430. He is the only player to have amassed over 400 appearances. He also holds the record for most wins in Premiership matches, standing at 310. No player has scored more points in NRL Premiership history than the hooker, with 2,786. He has also won 3 premierships in his career. You don't get to play 430 matches in the NRL, with one of the best teams in the competitions winning grand finals, being in the top 3 teams in the competition year in year out, without being able to handle pressure. Goal setting is the final PCD. This is vital for young athletes to do. Goal setting is often used to distinguish what you want to achieve. This can be how many goals you want to score in a season for your football team, or what weights you want to be able to lift. Goal setting gives you something to aim for, and you are driven to achieve it to prove to yourself that you can do what you set out to do. Goals affect performance by affecting effort, persistence and direction of attention, and by motivating strategy development. This shows that if goals are set, they are usually beneficial because it increases the athlete's effort and motivation to succeed. Does trauma affect the athlete? An example of trauma affecting the athlete is Jeremy Winston. He was an 18-year-old ex-academy player at Manchester City who recently took his own life. He was someone who clearly had an incredible talent as a footballer, said Mr. Gollenbeck, who added he had been struck by the love the teenager had for his friends and family. This shows that his death was unexpected and something that has taken people by surprise. This also means there is something that people maybe don't know that could have led to this happening, such as depression from being released by the club he has spent so long at. Another example of this would be Terry Newton, an ex-rugby league player who took his own life in 2010. He made appearances for Great Britain and played for clubs such as Leeds Rhinos and Wigan Warriors, 2 of the biggest names in the sport. He had a good career but started to pick up injuries towards the end. He took growth hormone drugs to speed up his recovery after he had been told they was untraceable. However, after being caught, he was handed a mandatory 2-year suspension from the sport at age 31, meaning his professional career was effectively over. Soon after, he began to run a pub in Wigan, where many of his old teammates and opponents visited and found him superficially cheerful. Despite his various excesses, he had always been a popular character within the game. The fact that ex-teammates and opponents visited his pub and saw him happy shows how people can hide their true feelings and shows that extra steps should be taken to ensure the mental well-being of athletes. The trauma of being banned from the sport he loved and cared about so much had a detrimental effect on his mental health, yet he let no signs show on the outside as to how he was feeling.